Okay. What's up, everybody? We're back. And I want to just go briefly over this press conference from the Pennsylvania governor. I'll give it a minute for people to join. I didn't realize this was happening now. I intended to come back live later. And I am going to come back later and do some updates. What's up? Welcome. A lot of stuff going on with this Trump assassination attempt, and Perp is dead, but there's a lot of conversations happening online. Mention of explosives with the vehicle, looking into his past, classmates coming forward saying that this guy was described as a loner who was bullied relentlessly and wore hunting outfits to class often. Pictures and videos being released. So, but the first thing is I want to get into this presser. And by the way, if you haven't been following me on IkidMelCC, make sure you do, because yesterday we were doing all the Trump situation, the story on the second page. And I don't have any notifications left currently until a few hours later today. So let me just put the link in the chat real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, make sure you're following this page because you're missing out. All right, if you're not following IkidMelCC, you're missing out on a lot of news as well, all right? So let's check this out. Let's switch over here. I am coming back later because I was actually pulling up a bunch of links and stuff for us to talk about later. But for now, just jumping on because I want to cover this update here.
To be here today in Butler Township, a wonderful community, a community where people love one another, respect one another. Unfortunately, last night had to deal with tragedy in their neighborhood. I've just come from a briefing with the FBI and the Pennsylvania State Police. And I'm joined today, of course, by Colonel Christopher Paris of the Pennsylvania State Police. Law enforcement will have more to share throughout the day. But I'd like to make a few comments separate from the ongoing investigation. First and foremost, the assassination attempt on the former president, Donald Trump, last night was absolutely unacceptable and tragic. Lori and I are grateful that the former president is safe and, according to him and his team, is fine. It's also important to note that last night, 3 of our fellow Pennsylvanians were shot, 1 fatally and 2 in critical condition.
Which, by the way, I'll segue to that real quick. This is the person, real quick, just want to say rest in peace. This is the person that passed away at the Trump rally he was attending. Matthew Crooks is the killer, and there was a whole bunch of mess with that last night because there was this troll and all this stuff. But anyway, the victim, Corey Comparator, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, a family member has released a statement on their Facebook page about the situation. Prayers up for Corey. So this is his family, him right here. His family made a post. So, yeah, really sad. You got to GoFundMe too. I'll add that to the description in a minute. All right.
I've just spent time speaking to the families, and I want to offer my prayers and the prayers of all 13 million Pennsylvanians for the 2 individuals who are being treated at this time. We lost a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comparator. I just spoke to Corey's wife and Corey's 2 daughters. Corey was a girl dad. Corey was a firefighter. Corey went to church every Sunday. Corey loved his community. And most especially, Corey loved his family. Corey was an avid supporter of the former president and was so excited to be there last night with him in the community. I asked Corey's wife if it would be okay for me to share that we spoke. She said yes. She also asked that I share with all of you that Corey died a hero, that Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally. Corey was the very best of us. May his memory be a blessing. Last night was shocking for this community and for this Commonwealth, and I know for this country. Political disagreements can never, ever be addressed through violence. Disagreements are okay, but we need to use a peaceful political process to settle those differences. This is a moment where all leaders have a responsibility to speak and act with moral clarity, where all leaders need to take down the temperature and rise above the hateful rhetoric that exists and search for a better, brighter future for this nation. It's the work that I try to do every day here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that's the work that falls to each and every American right now. And so I ask that you join me in prayer for the two Pennsylvanians who are in critical condition, that we continue to wish for a full and speedy recovery and pray for the former president, and that the Comperator family remains in our thoughts and prayers. They have some very challenging times ahead of them. They will have an empty seat at the dinner table for the rest of their lives. But we need to make sure that Corey's memory is forever a blessing. And here in Pennsylvania, we will see to it that that is the case. And with that, I'll be happy to try and take a few of your questions.
Governor, a lot of folks are starting to ask the tough question about whether that building that the shooter accessed should have been secured. Should it have been secured? And do the Pennsylvania State Police have any responsibility to have secured it?
I'm not going to get into any questions, answer any questions regarding the ongoing investigation. I trust that the FBI and the Pennsylvania State Police will keep you posted throughout the day and in the days ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of criticism right now going on about how the security was set up there, Secret Service. You know, they say that like former presidents, they get the Secret Service, but they're not at the level of like the current president. And so I don't know, because I've seen reports stating that, you know, the shooter was like 100-something so yards away. Even things like, well, I mean, check this out. This is something that's going around right now. People are speculating, like, was this an inside job type of thing? You know, one post here, rumors are circulating that the Trump assassination attempt was an inside job. After a release of this angle, pay attention to what the Secret Service agent does seconds before. I don't know, bro. Just check it out. So you're going to see a Secret Service guy get up, I think, from the left here and kind of direct this person here to, like, leave or something. But I think this person initiated the conversation.
To our country, probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. To our
I don't know what you guys think. I don't think this is really anything here, particularly.
country, probably 20
I don't know. It looks like the Secret Service guy gets up.
million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I thought the counter sniper video was kind of interesting because there's I'm going to talk about this later too, but there's supposedly rumors out there that like the counter sniper was asking for permission to shoot because he spotted somebody, and supposedly he was denied to fire. That's rumors going on online, 4chan and other stuff. I don't know.
As to their investigation.
Governor, there were some concerning items that the police had found in the suspect's vehicle. Do you have any update on those? And are you confident at this point the threat is over, that he acted alone and that the public is in fact safe?
The investigation is ongoing, and law enforcement will update you on the status of their investigation throughout the day.
Can you share any more about your communications with former President Donald Trump?
Christy says, how do you have short and out of shape women as Secret Service agents who cannot cover the president? Well, I saw something this morning really interesting. I saw something this morning. Let me see if I can play this for you guys real quick, because my mind is kind of bouncing around.
Second
it away!
Oh my God. Let me see if I can show you. I was watching Mark Dice this morning. And there's two things. I'm actually going to clip something and post it to Twitter later. But to what you're saying, referencing that, and they're saying approximately 400 feet away. This is Trump stage, shooter's location.
It looks like it was diversity.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious
This is the head of the Secret Service, by the way.
as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
Obviously, it does.
So, you know, everybody should have the opportunity, right? But only qualified people should be doing this job. I don't know. Some of the video that we saw yesterday was a little bit questionable. One of the woman or lady, not saying a guy, that can't happen to a guy either, but one of the ladies couldn't even put her gun in her holster. She was like struggling with it. It looked kind of like a mess. It was a chaotic situation, but like a couple of the ladies that were standing in front of the thing, they just looked like just frazzled, man. I don't know.
For his team.
I have not spoken directly to the former president. I have wished him well. I think multiple times.
Just hire qualified people. This thing of like trying to fill a quota of certain genders or races, just whoever's qualified, everybody gets the opportunity or whatever, but like just qualified people, that's it.
Times last evening through statements Lori and I have, the people of Pennsylvania, I know, were praying for him. And again, according to his team and himself, it seems as though he will be fine, obviously, relatively speaking.
Are they calling for a resignation?
We're glad to see that. Violence is never acceptable. I should also let you know that I did speak to President Biden. He called me last night to make sure that here in the Commonwealth we had all the resources we needed. I assured him that we did. At the time, he had yet to speak to President Trump. I think they connected later in the evening, and he wanted me to know that he was trying to reach out to the former president. I think that was the honorable and right thing to do, and I'm glad that President Biden did that. We have no unmet needs at this time, and we're working in concert with our federal partners, and I let the president know that.
Governor, have you talked to the families of those two who were critically injured, and do you have an update on their condition?
I spoke to the family of one of them, and the other left a detailed message, and I'm not going to get into their status. That'll be shared by the Pennsylvania State Police and or the family later today.
Governor, will you be asking for flags to be put on half staff across the state, and also knowing that this is going to be really contentious, even more so, a battleground state for the rest of what would your message?
I just missed the last part of what you said.
No problem. The first was about the flags. The second, knowing that this is going to be even more contentious now in the state of Pennsylvania and that we're divided here, what is your message to people who live here?
I have directed that flags be flown at half-staff in Corey's memory, and our chief of staff is working through that process now. My message to all Pennsylvanians, my message to all Americans is to be firm in your beliefs, to believe what you believe, to advocate for what you believe, and to be engaged in the political and civic process, but to always do so peacefully. To remember that while we may be Democrats or Republicans, above all else, we are Americans. And if you look at the story of this great nation over the last 248 years, a nation that was born right here in Pennsylvania, it's been ordinary Americans at every single step of the way, rising up, demanding more, seeking justice, advocating for change, and doing so peacefully. And those who have advocated for such change peacefully, they have been the ones to bring that about. We have to remember that even in these times where there are real divisions, that we have to address those divisions through engagement in the political and civic process in a peaceful manner. That is incumbent upon all political leaders of all parties, and it is incumbent upon the public. I will tell you that notwithstanding the tragedy that we saw last night here in Butler, the awful tragedy, that every day when I'm around Pennsylvania, I see the very best of Pennsylvanians. People who do have fervent beliefs, people who do have passionate beliefs, but who engage in a peaceful manner, and who love their neighbors, and who engage with people in their communities, even those that they might have differences from. We need to learn from our history in this Commonwealth and in this country, and we need to bring our better angels forward and carry that forward into this political season.
Governor,
I'll take one more. Yes.
Can you expand on the situation of Mr. Comfortore's passing? Was he standing behind President Trump? You said he dove in front of his family. Is there any more detail you can provide about
His
that?
wife shared with me that he dove on his family to protect them. As for any other information, that'll be shared by law enforcement. Thank you all very much.
Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania addressing reporters there in Butler Township less than 24 hours after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. The governor of Pennsylvania saying he spoke with the victim who died, the supporter who died there from bullet wounds, describing him as a girl dad, a father of two girls, we believe. His name is Corey Comfortore. According to the governor there just moments ago, he said he spoke with Corey's wife, who gave the governor permission to share with the country that her husband, a firefighter, died, she said, as a hero. He jumped on family members in the middle of that madness as it was playing out at the rally. I want to bring in our team members for some important questions, just to bring you up to date at home. Let's bring in our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, who is right there at the scene of the press conference. I know, Aaron, you asked moments ago about this fast-moving investigation, whether or not the governor would weigh in on what might have been discovered inside the suspect's car. And again, this is all moving very quickly. Let's bring our audience up to speed on what we know about the shooter.
We know the shooter was a 20-year-old local person from here in western Pennsylvania, David, and he was killed by a U.S. Secret Service sharpshooter, and that was after he was able to fire off about 8 rounds from an AR-style rifle from an elevated position, which in and of itself is concerning. There were some critical images captured by Doug Mills of the New York Times, the first of which appears to show a projectile passing by former President Trump, followed by a second image by Doug Mills of the New York Times, in which the former president appears to touch his ear. And then you see in a third image blood on the former president's hand. These are images among hundreds of others that law enforcement officials are now studying as they now try to find a motive for why this shooter did what he did. So far, David, we're told there has been no obvious motive, either through social media, but they're still going through it, including a Discord account, although that hasn't been terribly revealing from what law enforcement officials tell us. And David, here you heard the governor try to address the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania who are rightly shocked, he said, by what occurred in their state. He said political disagreements can never be addressed with violence, but that's exactly what happened here on Saturday evening, David.
In fact, we heard the governor there tell not only the people of Pennsylvania, given the outsized role that state plays in really all presidential elections and will again come this November, to advocate for what you believe in, but to do it peacefully. He encouraged all Americans to abide by that principle. You were talking about the suspect there moments ago, really extraordinary images from the New York Times, for many very difficult to look at, as you can actually see the bullet coming in. And it's a lot of people, Aaron, in looking at that, know the video they saw from less than 24 hours ago, that it was the former president's right ear, and yet it looks like it's coming in from that.
So I don't know. Somebody was pointing out yesterday, we talked about this bullet captured in the air. Somebody was talking about like the frames per second. Not sure those cameras would actually be able to capture a bullet midair. I don't know. But that was one of the pictures on Twitter. I was trying to find, so there's this, we could take a look at this for a little bit. There's this feed from outside of the suspect's house. Bomb squad on alert. I don't know if this is currently live, but I don't know if this is. We're gonna get more into this later, but there was they said they found suspicious stuff. Is Gerald watching this? Oh, they changed it. I wonder what news station JLR is watching. Trump supporters house cornered. Damn, I didn't know that happened earlier. I would have jumped on live. I need to get some more people to send me breaking live news.
Was speaking. You can see the places for people to sit. You in this picture was not.
All right, you guys want to watch something interesting? Hold on. Okay, Ali tagged me in this. It says this video does a great job explaining what happened. Please like and repost. All right, let's check it out. Let's check this out.
You in this picture was not acting alone. Take a look at the 3D version of where Donald Trump was speaking. You can see the places for people to sit on both sides, and then of course the infamous building where he was somehow able to have a clear line of sight at President Trump. That is something that's supposed to be almost impossible to happen. Take a look at the 3D version of where Donald Trump was speaking. You can see the places for people to sit on both sides, and then of course the infamous building where he was somehow able to have a clear line of sight at President Trump. That is something that's supposed to be almost impossible to happen. Everyone knows how under fire Donald Trump is right now on almost all fronts, how much they want to take him out, how big of a threat he is to the three-letter agencies. Of course, security has to be at an utmost level of importance right now, even more so than ever before. And so, of course, they're going to make sure that every single building is sealed off. They're going to make sure there's no possible way for you to have that ability to take him out. And even if you somehow can get kind of close, you'd be neutralized almost immediately. And that's where we get into the most disturbing part of this story. Multiple people who were at the event reported afterwards that they were yelling at officers, hey, look, there's someone up there, someone may be about to open fire trying to get their attention, and yet somehow, for multiple minutes, he was able to set up, and then he was able to take the infamous shot.
Well, and they said too he crawled, like army crawled over.
It's now something that's going to be heard around the world. Now, a lot of people also don't realize how close it was to hitting Trump. This was not just some immature person. This is someone who is clearly highly trained. It was a perfect shot. The only reason why it didn't hit him is because he happened to turn his head at the last second.
If you watch the video, yeah, he literally had just kind of like turned his head. I think if he didn't turn his head, he might have been dead right now. And a lot of people are kind of criticizing, and I think rightfully so. I mean, because you want to improve security, right? So you got to criticize it for improvement. So the Secret Service, what was up with that? And they were just reactive. That's all they were, is they were reactive. And after a couple of shots is when they got him. I mean, it didn't take that long, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that you could say he's alive because of Secret Service. I mean, who knows if they didn't take him out, how many more shots he would have shot. He's alive because he turned his head. Just straight out fucking luck. They're supposed to have that shit locked down, cornered for I don't know how much of a distance. So there's no somebody be able to do an open shot like that out in the open. And then there's a witness that said he was telling police for like 2 minutes, or security or somebody. And they kind of seemed like they weren't taking him serious. Luck, or some people believe divine intervention.
It almost certainly was divine intervention. There's no other way.
I haven't watched this video
to really explain what happened here, and that's why I think it's so important that we don't just look at this in the way the media wants us to. We have to continue to investigate, because they're going to try it again. This was one of the three-letter agencies trying to do what they've done before with the Kennedys, with other important politicians and figures. If you are a threat to the system that's big enough and you have a very serious chance to win, they will make sure that you don't get that chance anymore by taking your life. I'm praying for Donald Trump. I'm praying for his family. And of course, Barron, who had to watch this, his young son, who was now about to go off to college, and who is seeing his dad fighting for his life to try to save the country. That's as poetic, as majestic, as patriotic as it can possibly get. My investigation.
Yeah, I was sitting this morning and I had some breakfast with my mother, and we were talking about this. And she was telling me, like, damn, like this guy Trump has been through like everything. And he's still going and dedicated and still, like he's been through everything. They're throwing the kitchen sink at this guy. It's incredible. Incredible. So, I mean, and they're saying, I saw a report somewhere, again, we'll talk about it later, but I saw a report where they were saying that this guy is supposedly the same stereotypical, supposedly being bullied and a loner in school. The other thing that I heard too, I haven't confirmed this yet because I didn't have enough time. I just launched the stream, but supposedly they said he was registered as a Republican, but once Biden, I guess, got into office, he sent like a $15 donation. But I need to double check all that stuff. And I mean, what he's registered as doesn't really mean too much in a sense, because there's all kinds of people that are registered as something initially and then change their mind. You know. So this is I'm sure everybody saw this. This is I guess the counter snipers. I mean, they're there, I guess, to survey the area. But to hear, it's like they're zoomed in and almost like they're looking at the perp, the suspect.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
The reaction is interesting because he's zoomed in like he's looking at something, and so is the other guy, because I thought I saw other pictures, but they weren't really like that before. It's almost like he's looking at the guy, but he could be surveying.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
But right before the shot comes in, his head pops up like he knows some shit's about to go down. It's almost as if he's looking at the guy. I don't know. And then he comes back down to look back at the guy and almost kind of jerks back a little bit.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
I really wish we'd know the story from this guy, but I don't know if he would ever say anything. I don't know if they're allowed to. It's kind of interesting, this reaction. And then there was people wondering, because the close-up of these guys, it says like law enforcement. People wondering, is that Secret Service or just regular law enforcement? Like, what is that?
See something that said, take a look at what happened.
And it's almost to me like he's almost kind of like, oh shit.
That said, take a look at what happened.
Because his head bobs up and then quickly back down, like, oh shit, I gotta shoot this guy. So I really wonder if there's any truth to the rumors of supposedly, you know, how you almost like you see in the movies, like, I got the shot, can I take it? You have a clear shot. Supposedly the rumors is that they denied him firing at the guy. So pretty wild stuff. Let me see if there's anything else. I'm gonna come back later to do some more updates. Oh, here's I'll show this real quick too. I mean, I'm almost running through the stuff I was gonna do later, but supposedly 4chan, I don't know. My name is Jonathan Willis. I'm the officer. Why an anonymous post, but then he puts his name? I don't know. I'm the officer in the famous photo of the two snipers on the roof at Trump's rally. I came here to inform the public that I had the assassin in my sights for at least 3 minutes, but the head of Secret Service refused to give the order to take out the perp. 100% the top brass prevented me from killing the assassin before he took the shots at President Trump. I don't know. Oh, does it say Secret Service? This police? I don't know if this is security or Secret Service. That might be Secret Service. Weird. It's really, you can't really trust too much online until you double, triple verify, whatever, because you saw the mess that happened last night with this fraud. There's some guy that thought it'd be cool to pretend he's the shooter. And so he started making posts, started making videos. And
my name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans. I hate Trump. And guess what? You got the wrong guy.
So he thought this shit was funny until he started getting bombarded and people started looking into him. And then he had to private his Twitter account. People will do anything to get some attention. Yeah, this makes no sense. Why is he posting anonymous but telling us the name? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I make no sense. This is supposedly live. I don't know if this, I don't trust this news source either. Times AP. You see AP News.
Additional.
That's how I take
it.
Very well. And listen, and listen. I'll say it one more time. I'll be bipartisan. President Obama.
Okay, I'm going to play this.
Because
the JLR's playing this. I'm going to borrow this from him.
Let's see what this press conference is. Stay with us as we get it going on.
The former president. But I think, in the law, there's a principle known as res ipsa loquitur, meaning the thing speaks for itself. Someone shot the former president of the United States. There is no other conclusion that there was a security failure, period.
Ooh.
And so why do you have that question?
Oh, he just straight out said it.
I listened all night. Well, we shouldn't ask that question now. As I said before, that's nonsense. We need an answer to that question because President Biden and his supporters need to be safe. President Trump and his supporters need to be safe. RFK Jr. and his supporters need to be safe. And we all witnessed the men and women of the Secret Service on the inner security ring of that bubble. They responded immediately, with courage and bravery. In the next ring of that security bubble, we saw the marksman from Secret Service take out that deranged demonic shooter with courage and bravery and skill. Someone, whether it's the director of the Secret Service, Cheadle, or one of her directors, signed off. That's how it works. They signed off. They said, yeah, this is a good security plan for that event. Yes, you do not need to guard the only place you could have taken a shot at the president of the United States, the former president. You do not need to secure that rooftop. Someone said, don't secure it. We need those answers. We need to make sure that we have the right people in place to protect President Biden, to protect President Trump, and all candidates. And so that's the point that I'm raising now. It's not too early. In fact, it's too late to ask those questions and, more importantly, get answers.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
When you were talking about earlier, you talked on the left, and you said they did this.
Yeah.
How do you know that? This guy could be just some crazy guy who hates the whole government. Yeah. Is it too early to say they did this, to put the blame on the left? Because this guy, who knows anything about this guy? He's 20 years old. He's obviously crazy, but who knows what he's on.
Yeah. So I started by saying that the responsibility is the deranged.
By the way, Biden is supposed to be going live, I guess, again, to talk about this. He did a very short thing yesterday. It was like 2 minutes long. And so I didn't even bother posting it because it was so short. But the White House, we're going to check it out. They're going to go live soon. So I'll keep this on my other screen and keep an eye on it.
Shooter, and perhaps his lack of good upbringing.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, guys.
It begins and ends there. But, when I live my life, I don't keep my common sense in the closet. And so I think it is important to ask questions as what in our culture, in our society, in our political system, in the media, on television, and in Hollywood, what might have contributed to this? And clearly it is not the right that is calling Donald Trump Hitler. It is not the right trying to put Donald Trump in jail. It is not the right trying to prevent Donald Trump from becoming the next president. When you call somebody Hitler, which has been repeated over and over again over the last several years.
Wow, they're going off.
That there's a cause and a possible effect. There are impressionable, deranged people, sadly, out there. And if you convince one of them that Hitler or a person who's just trying to destroy your country is attempting to become president, you might get the idea that this shooter obviously got last night.
If you guys can elaborate on that a little more, I'm surprised that you don't feel like you're getting ahead of yourselves, because
We don't know this guy's motive. You're suggesting that he was motivated by some sort of political ideology. Perhaps it's not political.
What is it then?
At all. I mean, maybe
what is it then? What is it?
Have in a couple days.
You just chose him just to choose it?
Yeah, listen.
It's a random shooting?
We have a few months to an election that will determine who the leader of the free world is. As I said, I think it's too late to ask questions, obviously. I think it's too late to do what President Obama suggested last night that we need to do, and I think we should listen to him, which is we need to get rid of this hate rhetoric. Former President Obama believes that is what has contributed to this, obviously, or wouldn't have said that. Every former president last night said this kind of hatred. They said violence has no place in politics, nor does hatred, nor does the demonization of your political opponent, nor does the weaponization of the full force of the government against your political opponent. They've arrested him, they've indicted him, they've tried him, they've convicted him. So I don't think it's too early to ask those questions. And as I said, I think we're allowed to use our common sense to say, or to ask the questions, hey, is there something that's happening in society that contributes to this type of thing? And we do know his motive. It's obvious to anyone. I was a former prosecutor in Manhattan District Attorney's Office. His motive was clear. He tried to assassinate the leading candidate for the presidency of the United States. Now, I think it's appropriate that we ask, what led that deranged, demonic human being to that point? And every former president
of John Hinckley,
yeah,
they did not get a political answer.
Every former president. If you don't believe me, listen to President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama. Listen to them. Listen to President Biden last night, who said, we've got to get the hate out. They must be saying that because they believe the hate contributed to what happened last night.
I'm wondering what you guys are thinking about the contribution
attempted coup
Donald Trump is.
Thank you for the 5 there. Joanne Nelson, thank you.
Has played in this. I mean,
I'm going to check it out, Albert. I pulled it up. Thank you.
What are you suggesting? That he wanted to get shot?
He says all the things he says at his rallies. You guys don't hear that all the time?
Okay, I just want to be very clear.
Oh, hold on. So I got to interject too. So hold on. We got to take it back to Mark. That hopefully we have some time before the pressure starts, with or whatever that is starts.
They spread fake news.
He's just talking about, like, doesn't Trump spread all this hate?
What are you suggesting? That
the contribution that Donald Trump has played in this. I mean, none of you have spoken about that.
What are you suggesting? That he wanted to get shot? He
says all the things he says at his rallies. You guys don't hear that all the time?
Okay. So, and it's funny that I'm going to post this later too. I guess I have to post this later. Let me show you this, because I remember this clip. They talk about, like, oh, they're inciting violence. How dare you? Oh my God, you're so violent.
Political ranting from the Democrats, which they're using as information warfare again, hoping to incite just this kind of event. Lunatic rantings like this.
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Remember this
Here's
shit?
the supposed...
I guess he can't show it. You remember this thing too? They literally... That crazy deranged lady. I forgot the orange-haired lady.
And that's a fact.
Redhead lady. I think she did a video where she shoots him in the head. So...
Okay, so I just want to be very clear, okay? Violence has no place in the political process in this nation.
No, I understand,
okay?
But you're saying that the rhetoric and things that are being said by, anybody else. But what about what it is that Donald Trump says? Do you guys ever, are you guys going to talk about that at all?
Yep.
It is fucking bizarre that you would say that the person who got shot in the head, his rhetoric was responsible, as though there's some justification for bad things being said to shoot someone, the leading candidate for politics, in the head. That is bizarre. But to the last point that you made, 2011, you had Gabby Giffords, who got shot, tragically. And the media, and I'm not sure if Channel 7 did or any other network, but the media, by and large, put together a fact pattern that a woman from Alaska who had a PAC in Washington, who some staffer put bullseyes on a map saying these are the districts we're going to target, was responsible. The leading newspaper of record, the New York Times, editorialized. It was just in court. Right? So to imply that there's no rhetorical cause and effect that motivates crazy people to do things is absolutely bizarre. I woke up this morning to the Staten Island Advance with a bizarre headline today, 6 a.m. We got to get those Trump MAGA thugs or gangsters. That was today's newspaper of the Staten Island Advance. I don't even have a subscription to cancel anymore. It's just bizarre. You have Keith Olbermann, right? Not just anyone, someone who is the media, saying he had hope for the Trump assassination. You had other people call Trump Hitler, saying he's a threat to democracy. I've never heard anyone just go back at any of these representatives and say, how is he a threat to democracy? Because you don't like the things that he's going to do with the constitutional power he gets? That's not a threat to democracy. That is the result of democracy. If you don't like what's happening, run for office, support candidates you like, and that's that. But this rhetoric that we have heard over and over and over again, equating someone with a mass murderer, to think that that didn't contribute to this is bizarre.
I may. The guy is also, by the way, a registered Republican. Yeah. You guys know about that?
I don't know who you are, so I just like to.
I had a feeling that was going to come up. So that's what I talked about earlier in the stream. They're saying the guy's like a registered Republican, but, you know, when I guess Biden got into office, this guy had sent, we're talking about the killer, the assassinator, attempted assassination. He sent like a $15 donation to Biden. So I don't know. I don't know what that means, you know.
Before I answer your question, what's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel, from where?
From NBC.
And sir, where are you from?
I'm sorry, NJ Burkett with Channel 7.
Okay. So you want to talk about the fact the guy may be a Republican, or at least registered to the Republican Party, which anybody in this country is free to do.
I didn't ask that question, by the way.
That's fine, but you did suggest, and you're talking about rhetoric. So are you saying that
this is spicy.
It's not okay for us to denounce violence? Are you saying that we should wait until we know what's going on? Everybody on the planet knows that you have MSNBC, the New York Times, Rachel Maddow, The View. You have Maxine Waters. Oh, let's get in their faces. You have this going on every day. And you dare to say to us, shouldn't we wait? No, we shouldn't wait. Right now is the time to say that we need to cool things down. We don't have to wait for your permission. We don't have to wait for anybody's permission, regardless of this young man's motivation. What he did was wrong. He tried to assassinate a president of the United States. And you stand there and say, well, maybe I should wait. Maybe it's okay. Are you saying the fact that he was registered to the Republican Party absolves him of everything? Absolves all of the media of all of the coverage they've done for the last 10 years? Absolutely not. That is a pathetic question, and I think you guys should be ashamed. I mean, I don't know you personally, but it's pathetic that you would even suggest that he's a Republican, therefore everything is okay. When you have social media, you have control of the media, you talk about the laptop, you talk about Russian collusion, all of that we have to forget, because maybe this guy was registered or is registered to the Republican Party. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I don't think what he's saying is that. I think what they're saying is when he says they did it.
Yeah, they did it.
They did it. You don't know that.
It's what I'm saying.
He knows who he is.
It's what I'm saying. Listen, I take all these DEI classes, right?
Oh, shit.
And in the DEI classes, they say that it's not what the question is. It's how the person who perceives the question takes it. That's how I get it.
Very well.
What we got? Is that Biden? Oh, there's something else playing in the background. What the hell is that? Okay, all right.
And listen. I'll say it one more time. I'll be bipartisan. President Obama, President Clinton, President George W. Bush, President Biden last night said they did it. They said the people, the hate in the process, did it. Every single one of them said that. So you don't have to listen to us. But we're not going to stand here and told that we're not seeing what we're seeing, which is what we've been told by the left for years now. The left suggested January 6th was something it wasn't and was a result of people spewing hate. That's what you all said and continue to say. And when we say, when a deranged, demonic shooter decides to take out the person who you say is going to destroy America, we can't say that maybe you saying that he's going to destroy America has something to do with it. It's common sense. We're going to continue to fight for what's right. We're going to continue to take down this curtain of lies and let the people know that it does matter.
Thank you. Just to end on this note, it doesn't matter who he is. It doesn't matter why he did it. The fact is that he tried to kill President Trump. That's it. And we are here to condemn those actions, to say violence is not the answer. Violence should not breed more violence. And you want to do something about it. You don't like the direction our country is headed. Make your voice heard in the political process and in the ballot box. And that's the reason why we're here today.
What would you say to Staten Islanders who may fear for their lives going to a political rally in the future?
That's a great question, actually. Staten Island Advance?
Yes.
Okay, great question. We cannot let this incident stop us from participating in the political process. If anything, it should motivate us to participate more in the political process. I assure you that on Staten Island, we have an adequate police. We support the police department. We have more than enough police officers that live on Staten Island, off-duty police officers, more than enough people that have carry licenses to carry firearms because they are either retired law enforcement personnel or active law enforcement personnel. Any political events that we have on Staten Island, I assure you, the Republican Party will take safety as a top priority, and any people that would like to come in will be secure. Great question. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fernando, Fox 5.
Nice to meet you.
What would you guys say about the actual problem where many families throughout the United States have suffered deaths in terms of gun control? Should there be more gun control in terms of letting a 20-year-old go in, buy a gun, and pretty much take care of an event like this?
That's a good question, Fernando.
Gun control?
We don't know right now. This is an ongoing investigation. So,
I mean, some of the most heavy gun controlled places are the most violent places in America.
We don't know what type of gun was used. At least I don't know. We don't know if it was legally bought. We don't know if it was bought off the street. I was a prosecutor for almost a decade. Okay? Our streets are filled with illegal guns. Mm-hmm. Not once did I ever prosecute a crime where the person was a legal gun owner. They are all illegal guns. Okay? So I don't want to answer. At this point, we don't know enough on this investigation for me to answer that question to you. But there are a lot more illegal guns on the streets of New York City, and that's what the criminals are utilizing to commit crimes, including homicides and robberies. And those are the guns we need to get off the street. Any other questions?
One more.
Yes.
Back to the question of political rhetoric on the left. Is there any indication, I mean, that rhetoric on both sides sort of ratchets the whole thing up?
Listen,
Might be
we are here as the Staten Island Republican Party to condemn the actions that occurred yesterday. We need the cool heads to prevail, okay? And we are saying that if people are upset as to what happened yesterday, to get involved in the process. And that's what we're saying. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
He's laughing and ridiculing. So impartial.
All right, so that was what they call themselves as the Staten Island Republican Party.
Interesting. Okay. That was JLR. I don't know where he found that press conference, but it was interesting. Okay, we're waiting on Biden. He's supposed to be speaking. The White House page on YouTube is live, so I'm waiting on that. I thought I had heard 1:30 was the start time, but maybe it's running a little late. Let me see what else we got. Oh, so while we wait, I know Alan was asking me to read this guy's Twitter post. He made a thread, and Tim McMillan. I guess we can look at it together. Tim McMillan. Having personally worked several presidential and vice presidential security details, here's some of my thoughts based on the available info of the assassination attempt on Trump. Oh, where he posted that? Hold on, let me see. I thought he had a thread maybe going on under here. What the?
And you know, that's a little bit.
Okay, I found it. I think I don't know why I didn't see that. 2021. Okay, here we go. All right. The Secret Service employ a multi-tiered defense in-depth approach to protective missions. An inner tier offer close protection support, these being the agents you see rushing in and surrounding Trump after the initial shots go off. A second middle tier is tasked with identifying and defending against mid-range threats, for example, the crowd, etc. This tier is largely comprised of local and state law enforcement temporarily attached to the security detail. This is the area that I worked on prior details. Okay, so you work the middle. There's the inner ones. Those people run and surround Trump. Then it says, finally, you have the extend tier, which covers long-distance threats. This can include counter-sniper details and cyber sig intelligence support with CBRN defense. Let me see what CBRN defense consists of: passive protection, contamination avoidance, weapons. Okay. Defense, monitor, survey, reconnaissance, chemical detection, identification, biological agent collection, sampling. Okay. 5. People who have wondered how could the counter snipers in the videos not have seen the would-be assassin prior to him getting a shot off. This is because the area of responsibility of those counter snipers on the roof behind Trump was very likely in the extend tier, so the far outer area. Essentially, they were scanning for threats at great distances, well beyond roughly 150 meters. The threat appeared. This is evidenced by the fact that the elevated counter sniper has to dramatically drop his line of sight to respond to the shooter. That makes sense, I guess. His reaction, the way he reacted. Secret Service advanced teams would have absolutely pre-scouted the location and identified the building the shooter was used as a vulnerable spot in the defense, which begs the question, how was this guy able to climb the roof and get a shot off? Based on the limited details at this point, in my opinion, the security breakdown occurred in the middle tier, which would likely include law enforcement who were supposed to be assigned to the area near the outer buildings. How significant of a breakdown could occur is up for speculation. However, like I said, this tier is largely dependent on local law enforcement, not the Secret Service. So speculatively, the local law enforcement officials who were supposed to be in the area and make sure no one with a gun climbed on the roof effed up. People have said that witnesses saw the guy with the gun on the roof told police, but they failed to respond and prevent the assassination attempt. So how does this happen? Well, there's technically limited lines of communication between the Secret Service and local law enforcement working with the middle tier. I was kind of thinking that too, that maybe there could have been some type of communication gap between the different agencies, and you need to respond so quickly. That gap is obviously crucial. Usually you have one or two local law enforcement liaisons who have direct communication with Secret Service, which means communications on the ground between the local law enforcement being told about the shooter are being routed through dispatch and local liaisons, then to the Secret Service. Compounding the difficulty to rapidly respond is the fact that there's always some confusion and inefficiency when multiple different law enforcement agencies come together to work a detail. Most of these agencies aren't used to working with each other and aren't given much information beyond a few pre-event briefings. Let's see. I actually saw what can go wrong in these scenarios firsthand when President Bush's Secret Service detail almost got engaged a local police SWAT/counter sniper team during the 2004 G8 summit. No one had properly communicated the local SWAT team's position. Oh, so they almost shot friendlies. All the Secret Service saw was heavily armed individuals with a line of sight on the president. The whole thing was seconds away from being a tragic incident. In the same vein, there was luckily some delay and confusion with the initial reports of a person with a gun on the roof, as local cops and Secret Service agents would all be trying to confirm the shooter didn't belong to one of the security support teams. That could be, yeah, that makes sense. Possible. So in summary, when looking for blame in this massive security fail, if I was a betting man, I'd say the answer rests with whatever detail likely local law enforcement were assigned to the area near the outbuildings. I'll also add that I worked 5 presidential details as a local law enforcement attachment, even though I was in close proximity for each detail, and only 2 of them did I actually ever see the president or vice president. That was Bush while he was in a limo driving away, and Cheney. But that was because I was on an inner position feet away from him. You're explicitly trained that your eyes are always on the crowd, surroundings, and potential threats, never on the president themselves, for obvious reasons. Now, my experience is entirely limited to official presidential visits, which are planned at least months, and in some cases, a year in advance. It's likely that some breakdown or issues I mentioned can be exponentially increased when it comes to campaign trips. So shorter times to prep, on the go, moving all the time, as these stops can come up or change with a very short notice. Okay. Interesting. All right, where's Biden at? Can anybody confirm what time he was supposed to come on? Let me see. Biden. Joe Biden.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans.
Oh, boy. Okay, well, let me see. Joe Biden. I guess we'll have to watch some other stuff while we wait. Joe Biden. Press conference. Okay, yeah. On the White House website, it says 1:30 p.m. Eastern. That's what I thought. So I guess they're running late. All right. Amazing.
So no aerial drones deployed at such a small rally to monitor rooftops? Seems easy.
That's actually not a bad idea if they would do that. No aerial drones deployed to such a small rally to monitor rooftop seems easy. I wonder if people got kind of like complacent too. the security and all that stuff, because it's just we don't expect something like that to happen. Oh, let's check out.
As we've been here, there's a large media presence here. You've had members of the community come and approach us, including one person who said he actually went to high school with this suspected shooter. I want you to listen to a little bit of our conversation there.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah, you said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
And this is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
That's what he was saying. He said that he was actually in the class before, behind the suspected shooter here. And we have some movement here where you hear an ambulance or a car horn, excuse that background noise. But one thing that we also heard from that conversation is that when we asked what he was bullied for, what this shooter was bullied for, he pointed to his clothing. Apparently, according to this person who says he was a classmate, the shooter would wear military-style clothes or hunting clothes regularly as he was at school. So we're still learning a lot more. We can tell you investigators continue to go in and out.
Lord almighty. There he is. Wow. Pent up anger. I wonder how long this guy has been plotting this. Like, how long has he been prepping for this? You know, days, weeks, months, years? I mean, he's only 20.
Out of the scene here. We know multiple agencies are here, not just local police, but the county bomb squad. As I mentioned last night, I saw the ATF here. It's a calm scene. It's not completely evacuated. Many residents are still in their homes behind here, but you can tell this is definitely a focal point of this investigation as we learn more about this suspected shooter who, again, from what we know and from public records, does not have a criminal history, not a large social media presence. So there's a lot more information that folks are looking to learn, Tom.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. So bullied almost every day. Damn. Somebody said in the comment section, guarantee the kids giving the interview were the bullies. Oh, man. Got 1,000 likes. Lord almighty. I don't know if anybody, I know it's kind of completely unrelated. It's just a show, but I don't know if anybody's ever seen Better Call Saul. And in that show, you know, there's the guy that's the attorney. His name is Jimmy, but he goes by Saul as well. And he has a brother. And the brother, you know, while you're watching the show, brother hates him. The brother, but like, you come to find out, he didn't just hate this guy, his brother, from like, oh, just recently. Ever since he was a child, he hated this guy. I mean, like a deep-seated hatred. And so, like, I'm watching the episodes, and this guy, Charlie, all he's doing the entire time is conspiring to screw over his brother, to the detriment of his own health. Chuck, this guy, I don't know how many times he's been to the hospital. There was one time he knocked his head, was bleeding out. He thought he was going to die. Oh, he didn't care about that. He just wanted to get payback. I'm talking about, I was like, because I think about this guy, and I know he's just an actor, but the character, I know there's people out there like this. I'm like, why don't you just focus on your damn life? Go to work, take care of your health. But no, this guy was obsessed. Every day, plotting, planning, writing notes, and coming up with these schemes and shit just to fuck over his brother. It was so crazy. And so I sometimes think, like, I know there's got to be people out there like this. You know, just plotting, planning. There was no electricity in the house because he claimed that, like, he had a sensitivity to electricity, but I went and looked it up. And some people say, I think even the CDC, which I don't trust them, but the CDC said it's not, what's it, electricity, let's see, electric sensitivity. They said it's not an actual thing, like a medical condition. Or they say it's actually like a mental thing, like a mental health shit. Electricity sensitivity. Okay. EHS, electromagnetic sensitivity, is a claimed sensitivity to electromagnetic fields to which negative symptoms are attributed. EHS has no scientific basis and is not a recognized medical diagnosis. Although it is generally accepted that the experience of EHS symptoms is of psychosomatic, that's how you say, origin. So some mental shit. The whole thing, I'm talking about, this thing is 6 seasons long. This motherfucker, the whole time, all he's doing is conspiring to screw his brother. And his brother was taking care of his ass, taking him to the hospital, bringing him food every day because he didn't want to use power. So everything has to be like gas or like lanterns or fire. Like, it's like prehistoric shit in this house. And all this guy does is try to destroy his brother. And it stemmed back all the way from the childhood. I don't want to spoil it. But I was just like, damn, bro, this guy's tenfold motherfucker. Like, god damn. And you got to know there's people out there like that. Probably your own family members or your best friend or some shit after a while. Just conspiring. You're plotting. Just waiting. Just want to destroy you. It's crazy. Make asylums great. They do need to bring back asylums, I think. For sure. Something's got to give, man. All right, let's see what else is going on. Sorry, my little rant. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. Oh yeah, I did see this video. So they're saying too that BlackRock produced a YouTube video featuring alleged Trump shooter Thomas Crook at the 19-second mark, and has subsequently taken it down. So there's this video. Let's see what this is.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say, you know, that guy made this place a special place to come to school.
That's him right there. The Trump shooter.
And gave as much as he could to help the community. To come to school.
19 seconds. I'll mute it. That's him right there. I never thought, huh? Yeah. And in that show, with that situation I was talking about with Better Call Saul, at first, like, the guy's in such denial. Jimmy, he's in such denial. And I'm like, damn, bro, you don't see it? Such denial, recording him, trying to get him fired. And then it's all like this jealousy stuff, too. And even when the mother passed away, because they're brothers, the mother passed away, the mother had said Jimmy's name before she passed. And the other brother, Chuck, he got so jealous. He was really jealous. And so this motherfucker, when the mother passes away, Jimmy had stepped away for a little bit. The mother passes away. He doesn't call his brother. The nurse is like, oh, do you want me to call somebody? He's like, no. He wanted his brother to miss it, to not be there. When his brother shows up later, he has to find out on his own. And then he's like, oh, did mom say anything? He's like, no, he didn't tell. I think he was jealous. Mama's love. He was jealous that his mother didn't love him as much as Jimmy or whatever. Some weird shit, but there really is people out there like that, man. You can be your best friend, your family member, your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, and you think everything's all good, and they want the worst for you. Or they're plotting on somebody. Obsessing. Instead of just fixing your own life. Somebody said, yeah, I saw Saul says black pill incel. Excuse me. I'm actually still watching Better Call Saul. I think I'm on the season 3. It's such a slow burn, though. It takes forever, man. It's like 2 seasons and a half before it actually starts to kind of get interesting to me. It's such a, and so they just show mundane, monotonous things just to fill the episodes. I feel like sometimes it takes like a good 2 seasons and shit to actually. Oh, okay, Monica. Yeah, I remember we were talking about that. All right, we'll find some other clips. So Biden's almost 30 minutes late. Someone in the chat earlier said the other day he was like 40 minutes late. So I guess not surprising. Not too surprising. Firefighter identified as victim. Yeah, that's really sad. Tate.
I am back. I had to come back. I can't, somebody help me with this video, because I can't understand why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm gonna let a couple people get in here real quick before this guy reacted. I don't know how that's possible, but we got to look at it.
Biden's live? Hold on. Oh. Let me refresh it. Okay, it's not showing here. Let me go to what news page? Is the White House delayed? Biden speaking.
Or as he takes the podium today.
One of the things we've seen from the White House in the last few hours is
a
conscious decision to demonstrate that the president is engaged on this issue. He obviously came back from Delaware to be at the White House. He was briefed in the Situation Room. We've seen images of that. He obviously expressed his condolences to that rally goer who lost his life. He has expressed his sympathy for former President Trump. And
okay. So let me catch this up real quick too. I didn't realize I missed milestones. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see this one. Ick and Nat, thank you so much for the 5 memberships. Amazing. And I need to do a members live. It's been a while. We need to do a members live. Live Life Full 247. Thank you for the 13 months. Says Mel Biden speaking in 15 minutes. Flo Morena, thank you for the 11 months. Says Biden speaking 10, 12 minutes. Okay, I got those. All right, so we're waiting for Biden. Some of the news feeds over there already have a live feed of the podium. So we're just hanging in.
On the fact that the two spoke, neither side is releasing any details. But that was obviously a touchstone moment in a series of chaotic events yesterday to demonstrate some semblance of national unity. The top Democrat, obviously the Democratic nominee, the president of the United States, calling not just the Republican nominee, but also his predecessor to express, presumably, his thoughts being with him in the wake of that tragedy yesterday. And we can
I mean, with all the violence that's been going on and the mass shootings and, I mean, just the chaos in different places, grocery stores, bars, shit, schools. And that school thing made me think of, I forgot that school. They're trying, I think, 2 cops or security guards or something. Uvalde, right? Uvalde. I think they're supposed to have like a grand jury thing. I don't know if it's going to go to trial. That'd be really interesting if they actually charge those people, because if anybody's ever seen the video, there was cops just standing around or something, or security. I don't know. Well, kids were getting shot and killed. Seemed like they were afraid to go in or something. But yeah, I mean, with all the violence going on everywhere, shit. If Trump could get it, any of us could get it. Anybody. It's open season. And he has Secret Service detail.
Decisions on behalf of President Biden or former President Trump. I haven't heard that in my reporting over the course of the day. One of the things I can tell you, though, is there is this sense amongst Republicans and Democrats alike of trying to bring the temperature down, trying to cool the rhetoric, trying to calm things down and make sure that there is no kind of spiraling outwards of this, of any kind of more political violence, and essentially express in their own different ways a unified front against an action of political violence like this. You saw, for instance, this freezing yesterday, Biden campaign sources tell us, of the Biden campaign ads against Trump and the stopping of those ads from being.
Oh, wait.
Say that's one element, the stopping of us. You saw, for instance, this freezing yesterday, Biden campaign sources tell us
they did that?
of the Biden campaign ads against Trump and the stopping of those ads from being played, Biden campaign officials say. That's one element of things. But yesterday's event is first.
I'm surprised it did that. Okay. I was tagged on Twitter, and this caption says, some people still think it's fake, the thing from Trump yesterday, which I'm like, bruh. I think that the other people think that some people think Trump set it up, like it's a setup. I'm like, who would set up getting shot, like almost killed, and the shooter getting killed, and a random, not random, but a bystander, the firefighter guy. It says here, I'm so glad Black Twitter know this ish was fraud because I was about to be worried, but then I saw former President Trump reenactment. Let's see.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Mr. President, hey, I got some old ketchup in my pocket. Oh, yeah, he did that. Never go. Hold on, let me taste it. Ooh. Where you get that from? Hey, shit, this is from my birthday. Oh, we gotta celebrate. We gotta celebrate this. You got that ketchup for the birthday? Yeah, put your fist up.
This is so stupid. Let me see what else. Chaos. I was trying to look for the post you tagged me in. I don't see it. You said on Twitter. So weird, dude. Yeah, I don't see. I don't see where you tagged me.
Tamp down on divisions like that.
All right, and former President Trump and President Biden are both calling for unity in this moment. R.J. O'Brien there in Milwaukee ahead of the RNC. Thank you, Jay. And we'll have much more special coverage of this assassination attempt against former President Trump as we await remarks from President Biden. We'll have that for you right after this break.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside.
Okay. Let's see what else. Where is Biden? Oh, there's another angle of Trump. Look at this lady here. She's providing. Wow, Oh man, what a time! What a time to be alive! How crazy is all this? Jeez. All right. So we're 30 plus minutes. Maybe at the 40-minute marker, we'll get Biden. Ooh, oof! I can prep too. Thank you for the 10. Cassie, thanks so much for the memberships too. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I don't know what was up with the shoes. I'm gonna let the robot read your message and then I'll talk about it. I can prep too. Carly says Trump was pissed about his shoes. Yeah, that's what I didn't even know that until this morning. My mother was talking about it. She was like, "Why does he care about his shoes?" Carly said, "I wonder if they were his favorite pair." I would have left everything, bro. Shoes, socks, whatever. Are they getting ready?
Developments, the president and Vice President Kamala Harris receiving an updated briefing in the White House Situation Room. This was just a short time ago. And of course, the entire world is now seeing those unforgettable images. Donald Trump taking the stage there. That's the rally, Butler, Pennsylvania. Moments later, the gunman opening fire. That bullet piercing Trump's upper right ear. You could actually see him there moments ago reacting to the shots being fired, looking at his hand and then go.
Good afternoon. Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering, and we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. He was a father. He was protecting his family from the bullets that were being fired, and he lost his life. God love him. We're also praying for the full recovery of those who were injured, and we're grateful to the Secret Service agents and other law enforcement agencies and individuals who risked their lives literally for our nation. As I said last night, there is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen. Unity is the most elusive goal of all, but nothing is important than that right now, unity. We'll debate and we'll disagree. That's not going to change, but we're going to not lose sight, in fact, who we are as Americans. Look, Vice President Harris and I were just briefed in the Situation Room by my Homeland Security team, including the Director of the FBI, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, the Director of the Secret Service, my Homeland Security Advisor, the National Security Advisor, and we're going to continue to be briefed. The FBI is leading this investigation, which is still in its early stages. Discussion around this disgusts
me. Maybe we need to stop blaming the politicians, media, influencers, etc., and point our fingers at the mirror.
We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job. I'm instructed that this investigation be thorough and swift, and the investigators will have every resource they need to get this done. Look, as this investigation continues, here's what we're going to do. First, Mr. Trump, as a former president and nominee of the Republican Party, already receives a heightened level of security. And I've been consistent in my direction to the Secret Service to provide him with every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure his continued safety. Second, I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened, and will share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation to demonstrate who we are. And so may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, when you spoke to President Trump yesterday, what did you...
That's it?
Sir.
What? Like an hour for that?
Shifting our campaign strategy, Mr. President. Mr. President, do you regret...
Hell nah. Hell nah. That's it? Oh.
Donald Trump safe moving forward. They will review all security measures for the Republican National Convention.
Sure.
That was the second thing he revealed there. Again, reviewing all security measures for the Republican National Convention moving forward in these next couple of days. As we've heard from the Trump campaign and the Republican Party, they do plan to move forward with the convention as planned. He's also called for an independent review of national security at that rally in Pennsylvania, pledged to share that with the American people. And perhaps most telling there, he announced an Oval Office address. 8 p.m. Eastern is our belief at this point. Let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Again, the president there moments ago saying he's instructed the Secret Service that they have every resource available to continue to keep Donald Trump safe. And he called for an immediate review of all security measures at the RNC. He'll address the nation tonight.
That is the case, David. The president here is trying to make it very clear that he is on top of this, that they are going to get to the bottom of how this could happen, and that he and this administration are doing everything they can to make sure that this doesn't happen again, starting, of course, with making sure that the RNC is as safe and secure as it possibly can be. But, of course, there also is that other important message that the president is trying to get across, which is just this amazing, remarkable, and sad moment that we are at currently as a country. The president coming out and saying again, there is no place in America for this kind of violence. This is not who we are, and saying we cannot lose sight of that. That, I think, is the message you're going to likely hear more of tonight as he tries to, over the last 24 hours, less than that, dial down the temperature, dial down the explosive political rhetoric in this country. The president, though, noting we do not know the motive yet of this alleged shooter, and the president saying don't make assumptions. But nonetheless, he's making clear he is doing everything he can to try and get to the bottom of this, and that he wants to share that more important overarching message with the country that it is now, that now is an important time to come together and unite. Yes, we disagree.
Okay. Two things that I wanted to go over. One, okay. Let me just find where this post is at. Hollywood Unlocked. This is from the Firefighters' daughter. I think this is what Chaos was trying to send me, but I didn't see the tag on Twitter. Okay. HU staff. Oh, it's a different post. Okay, that's why I can't find it. Okay. I don't know where this post is at, honestly. There it is. Okay, I found it. Sorry about that. So this is his daughter, Corey Comperator. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. She made a post. Says here, yesterday time stopped. When it started again, my family and I started living a real life nightmare. What was supposed to be an exciting day that we had all looked forward to, especially my dad, turned into the most traumatizing experiences someone could imagine. That's them right there in the picture. This is by Allison. Yesterday, time stopped, and when it started again, my family and I started living a real-life nightmare. What was supposed to be an exciting day that we had all looked forward to, especially my dad, turned into the most traumatizing experiences someone could imagine. I know the media will cover this event, and I'm going to try my best to stay away from looking at everything especially because I've already seen and lived through it in real time. So I guess they were there together. But I want everyone to know what the media will not cover and will not say about him. He was the best dad a girl could ever ask for. My sister and I never needed for anything. You call, he would answer. He would do whatever it is you needed. And if he didn't know how, he would figure out how. He could talk and make friends with anyone, which he was doing all day yesterday, and he loved every minute of it. He was a man of God, loved Jesus fiercely, and also looked after our church and our members as family. The media will not tell you that he died a real-life superhero. They're not going to tell you how quickly he threw my mom and I to the ground. They are not going to tell you that he shielded my body from the bullet that came at us. He loved his family. He truly loved us enough to take a real bullet for us. And I want nothing more than to cry on him and tell him thank you. I want nothing more than to wake up and for this not to be reality for me and my family. We lost a selfless, loving husband, father, brother. I kind of see where it left off at. Brother, uncle, son, and friend. I will never stop thinking about him and mourning over him until the day that I die too. July 13th will forever be a day that changed my life. I will never be the same person I was less than 24 hours ago. There are a lot of children out there that say their dad is their hero, but my dad really is mine. I don't think I would be here today without him. Dad, I love you so much that there aren't enough words to express how deep that love goes. I know you'll give heaven some hell. I know that God is proud of the man that came to his gates yesterday. Okay. Pictures there. Crazy. Scary. I think about it all the time, like with my daughter too. Like, my daughter's a daddy's girl. Her mother would tell you the same thing. And, I feel like I wasn't really afraid of death much when I was younger, and even when I got a little bit older, in my mid-20s. But once my daughter was born, now I'm like afraid of it because I'm like, I just want to see my daughter get older. I just want to be able to protect her for as long as I can. I want to see her accomplishments. You know, like I'm scared to like something happen to me for her sake. You know, because I want to be there for her because I really do feel like I can provide the best for her and protect her and do everything, you know, whatever. So, yeah, that's really sad that this guy passed away just attending a rally, you know. And you probably think going to these events, you think you're relatively safe, right? Because you're like, damn, there's so much security here, and they got the literal Secret Service, the best of the best, local law enforcement. What could happen? Right? And he brought his family out there. So, wow. I thought there was one more thing I wanted to show. Oh, I have to say I was a little surprised by this yesterday. A guy named The Docket, I follow him on Twitter, and he made a post saying like fake news, that the whole situation was fake. Fake news, fake blood. I was like, what? I was a little surprised. I was taken back by it. I didn't say anything to him, but I was kind of like, wow. And so Cinema here posted, pay attention to how the true crime community reacts to the Donald Trump assassination attempt. The masks are coming off. The Docket claims it was staged. He thinks that the guy who died shielding his daughter is fake. This is disappointing to see, considering the fact that people in the community respect this person for some reason. Oh, shit. These are the people that y'all think are the voices for victims. They are not. They are wolves in sheep's clothing and have very little compassion for the victims that they discuss as they prey on your emotions. I was really surprised to see this yesterday. I saw when he did this, it was like a very, very early on in when it first happened. And I saw people replying to him in the comments like, hey, like, bro, like, this is for real, like, whatever. And he was like, I don't care. That's what I saw. And yeah, I don't know. My initial reaction when I first heard about this, he commented he was going to the Trump rally. Really? Cat turd? My initial thing, like when I first heard this, I think we first heard it from Wilson. And I literally like was in bed and I questioned it. I was like, yo, is this shit real? Like, so I got up, like I ran to my computer. I was like, yo, is this shit for real? But once I saw the rally video, I was like, oh no, this is for real. Because I've seen these videos all the time where he's at these rallies. I was like, there's no way this is fake. Deranged celebrating the assassination attempt. Let me see.
John Wilkes Booth, if you can hear us, if you are with us, please, John Wilkes Booth, if you're listening, please.
Let me get this straight, dumbass! You have a fully reloaded shotgun, but you chose to use a 1-bullet.
We're not even sending our best to fucking assassinate. Cause what the hell was that? Lee Harvey Oswald would never, bitch. John Wilkes Booth would never.
Today was like this close to being the best day ever.
Wow,
also,
first time
the
seeing
person that at Trump at his rally was exercising that right that all of those Republicans were fighting for. So, can you really blame him?
John Wilkes.
Wow. Well, there you have it. I haven't seen that clip before. I'm not surprised. As my daughter would say, I'm not surprised. I'm sure there's people that are praying and hoping. I always thought that was a weird way to live. I don't know what kind of mind, like what the mind of that a person like that would look like hoping and praying for somebody to die. Like even people I dislike, even people like that have done horrible things or whatever. I've never thought like, I hope they die and I'm gonna like pray on it and like my whole life is gonna revolve around this one person and I'm gonna sleep, eat, shit this person and take over my life, and just such a weird way to live. And I just think that'd probably bring bad upon you to have that kind of mentality, just always wishing on somebody's downfall. That's why I mentioned that Better Call Saul. That this guy is so. After a while, after like 3 seasons, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's obsessed, yo. You don't have a life? You guys living in the dark, in a dark, shaded house, plotting the entire time on his brother. It's like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? This guy had cracked his head open, almost died. It was in the hospital. He didn't care about his health. He didn't care that he almost died. All he cared about was revenge. I was like, Jesus. It's like, God. It's weird. But there's people out there like that, so you gotta be careful, man. Even outside of all this shit, like, just you gotta be careful because you just never know, That's wild, man. He said he never heard crooks discuss politics or Trump. I wonder, like, who this killer's best friend was, if he had any. Like, who was the closest person to him? Thomas Matthew Crooks. I wonder if the shooter in his head thought he got Trump before he was shot and killed. You got to stop watching Better Call Saul, too nutty. The guy that died commented on Cat Turd, really? Saying he was going to the rally. Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to head out for now. I started collecting some tabs. I mean, I did go through a lot already, but if some updates come later, I'll come back on and we'll cover it. And yeah, I think Carly said Trump might have a rally tomorrow. I think so. Or I don't know if not. I say rally. Maybe I think he's going to speak or something. So we'll see. If he comes on, I'm curious to see what he'll have to say. All right. But take care, guys. Love you. Peace. Bye. I'm going to go for a little walk.